A very warm good morning, everyone. Is the audio and video fine? Yes. So let's move on with today's session on the lecture number 5 of body fluids and circulation. The topic of the day is disorders of the circulatory system. Yes, Yamini. Good morning. So let's move on with disorders of circulatory system, the last and final class of body fluids and circulation. The final lecture, and tomorrow we will be starting the NCRT highlight of this chapter. Yes. So reminding you, if anyone new is watching this session, do join the Telegram group, and the direct link is given there in the description box, and that is t.me/neet_biopoint. Due to some urgencies, today's morning class of cockroaches was postponed. It will be conducted to the evening. Yes, and the timing, specific timing will be informed later. So at the time, I just plan to take the body fluids and circulation, the final lecture, so that he would be able to take what structural organization cockroaches right at that time. Yes. So do hit the like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe. Biopoint, stream the world of bio for further session updates. Yes. The very first topic, hepatic portal system and coronary circulatory system. Let's discuss that in detail. This will be a very short session. Okay, a very short slides and a very short topics to complete today. Okay, so a system which includes hepatic portal vein. What is a hepatic portal vein? It is a specific vein that carries blood from intestine to the liver. Starts from intestine to the liver. So what is a portal vein? What is a portal vein? A portal vein is a vein that starts and ends as capillaries. Starts and ends as capillaries. Then such a vein is said as what? A portal vein. And this hepatic portal vein is a vein that carries blood from intestine to the liver. So before it is delivered to the systemic circulatory system, systemic circulation. So what is the hepatic portal system? It is a system that including the hepatic portal vein that carrying blood from intestine to the liver. Yes. Next is the coronary circulatory system. Yes. Coronary circulatory system is a system of coronary vessels that circulate blood to and from cardiac musculature. What is this coronary blood vessels or coronary arteries? Coronary arteries are those arteries. Let me write that. Oh God. Coronary arteries. They are those arteries that supply oxygenated blood. What type of blood? Oxygenated blood to the heart muscles or the heart wall, that is the cardiac wall. That supply blood to the cardiac wall. And coronary veins are those veins that collect the deoxygenated blood or collect the blood after the metabolic activities of the heart. All those things or all those bloods are entering the heart and leaving the heart and supplying itself to the heart. All those things are happening. Okay, so that is with the help of a coronary artery or coronary circulatory system, that is including a system of vessels, coronary vessels, that circulate blood to and from the cardiac musculature. Sit fine. That's about cardiac uh, system of flow of blood or system of circulation in the cardiac musculature. Yes. So hope that too is fine, so that we could be move with the next topic or the next slide. That's all about Regulation of cardiac activity. So let's continue with that. Let's continue with that. Is it fine? Yes. Okay. So next is the regulation of cardiac activity. Regulation of cardiac activity. The human heart is said as myogenic in nature. Human heart is said as myogenic in nature. Oh God, the voice is breaking. Human heart is myogenic in nature. That is, it is regulated with the help of muscles or tissues. It is regulated with the help of muscles or tissues. Okay, that's about myogenic heart. And these normal activities of the heart are auto-regulated by nodal tissues. Therefore, the human heart is myogenic heart. Yes, and the cardiac activity is regulated by medulla oblongata through ANS. What is this ANS? ANS refers to autonomic nervous system. Autonomic nervous system. Yes, that's what about ANS. Sympathetic nerves, and this autonomic nervous system is further divided into two, as you know, sympathetic nervous system and parasympathetic nervous system. All those are the two types of autonomous nervous system, and that sympathetic nerves in case of autonomic nervous system increase the rate of heartbeat, strength of ventricular contraction, and cardiac output. All those things are increased by sympathetic nerves. Okay, and the parasympathetic nerves decrease the rate of heartbeat. Yes, those decrease the rate of heartbeat, contection of action potential, and cardiac output. All those are decreased by parasympathetic nervous system. Yes. So hope that too is fine. So adrenal medullary hormones increase the cardiac output. Cardiac output is increased by the adrenal medullary hormones. Yes, adrenal medulla secretes specific hormones called epinephrine and norepinephrine, and those regulate or increase the cardiac output. Yes, yes, exactly. And Pama, the sympathetic and parasympathetic nerves are antagonistic in function. That is, they are opposite to each other in function. Opposite to each other in function. So hope that too is fine about regulation of cardiac activity. Right? The next topic is the lymphatic system. Lymphatic system includes lymph, lymph vessels, lymph nodes, that is the glands. There are specific other type of circulatory system that includes its own vessels for carrying, that is the lymph vessels, includes its own fluid, that is the lymph, and have its own glands known as the lymph nodes. Yes. As the blood passes through the capillaries and tissues, some water and soluble substances are filtered out from plasma to the intercellular spaces to form tissue or interstitial fluid. Yes. So some water soluble substances, some water and some soluble substances are just filtered out from the plasma, and they are just placed onto the intercellular spaces. And those substances form what the interstitial fluid, or also known as the tissue fluid. Very important. Okay. It has the same mineral distribution as that in case of plasma. The mineral distribution or composition of minerals, all those are same in that of the distribution of minerals in case of plasma. Some tissue fluid enters the lymphatic system and the tissue fluid in them is called lymph. Lymphatic system, that is this tissue fluid moves on to the lymphatic vessels. Lymphatic vessel is what is a component of lymphatic system, right? It moves on to the lymphatic vessels. And those tissue fluids present inside this lymphatic vessels is referred to as what? The lymph. Okay, it drains back to major veins. It drains back to major vein. What is lymph? It is a colorless fluid containing lymphocytes. It includes or it contains lymphocytes. Yes. Yes, Anandu, I have discussed that. Opposite in function. Antagonistic implies opposite in function. Yes. Okay, fine. So that's about lymphatic system. So let's discuss about the functions of lymph. So now inform me whether till now it's perfectly fine. Give me hearts on the screen. Give me hearts on the screen so that we could move with the functions of lymph. Yes, guys. Thank you for your responses. So let's move on with the functions of lymph. It is the middleman between blood and the tissues. Tissue fluid helps to exchange nutrients, gases, etc. between blood and the cells. Exchange of nutrients, gases, all those things occurs between the cells and the blood with the help of this lymph. Yes, it carries plasma proteins synthesized in liver to blood. So where are plasma proteins synthesized? Plasma proteins are synthesized in the liver. So they are transferred to the blood. All these are with the help of what? Lymph. Transport digested fat through lacteals in intestinal villi. Intestinal villi consist of specialized structures called as what? Lacteals. Hope you have learned that in digestion and absorption. Yes. Lymph and tissue fluid, same question mark. Okay, fine. Lymph and tissue fluid. Tissue fluid that is entering the lymphatic system is referred to as lymph. Okay, Anantu? So hope that's fine. So these lacteals transport digested fat, then fat soluble vitamins, hormones, etc. All those are transported with the help of what? Lymph. Right? All these are transported with the help of lymph. Filtration of bacteria and foreign particles occurs. That is another function of lymph. Filtration of bacteria and foreign particle occurs. Yes, lymph nodes produce lymphocytes and antibodies. That is another function of lymph. It produces lymphocytes and antibodies. Yes, that is the various functions of lymph. Middleman between blood and tissues, that is exchange of nutrients, gases, and all those things takes place between blood and cells with the help of lymph. Carries plasma protein synthesized in the liver to blood. Transportation of digested fat, fat-soluble vitamins, hormones, etc. Filtration of bacteria and foreign particles. Lymph nodes and produce lymphocyte and antibody. Lymph nodes produce and lymphocytes and antibodies. All these things are the functions of lymph. Yes, yes, Yamini. All these digested fats are transported with the help of lacteals in the intestinal villi. So let's move on. Last and final topic, disorders of circulatory system. After this, we will once again revise the chapter. Yes, we have just started only 45, less than 45, 15 minutes now, right? So that we could need some time reach as well, so that we will discuss it again. Disorders of circulatory system. The very first disorder that you have to learn is the hypertension. or high blood pressure. What is that? Pressure of circulating blood on the walls of blood vessels is called blood pressure. So circulating blood or the blood flowing through the blood vessels exerts pressure on the walls of those blood vessels, and that is what referred to as blood pressure. Yes, the normal blood pressure is 120 bar 180 mm of Hg. 120 per 180 mm. Sorry, 120 per 80 mm. That is 120 indicating the systolic pressure or the pressure. Okay, systolic pressure, that is the pumping pressure, 120 mm Hg. Yes, and diastolic pressure or resting pressure, that is the 80 mm of Hg. That is what introducing 120 and 80. So what does this 120 indicates? 120 indicates systolic or pumping pressure, and 80 indicates diastolic or relaxation pressure or resting pressure. Yes, and if this is the normal blood pressure, if you know that the normal blood pressure is 120 bar 80. Yes. So if it is above 120 bar 80, that is if it is 140 bar 90, if it is 120 bar 90 or above that, it shows hypertension. What is hypertension? That is blood pressure is higher than normal blood pressure, normal BP. That is hypertension. If an individual repeatedly has the BP of 120, 140 bar 90 or above, it shows hypertension. It leads to heart diseases and affects vital organs like brain, kidney, etc. All those things will be affected if hypertension or high blood pressure occurs. Yes, that's about hypertension, the very first disorder of circulatory system. Yes. So let's move with the second one, that is atherosclerosis or coronary artery disease or CAD. Atherosclerosis or coronary artery disease. What happens here is that the calcium, fat, cholesterol, and fibrous tissue, all those things are deposited in the coronary artery. All those things will be deposited in the coronary artery. And what happens there? Makes the lumen of the arteries narrower and affects the blood supply. Yes, look how these all things are what making the wall of an artery narrower. This is the normal cross section of the wall of a artery. Yes, and this is after deposition. It reduces the space, right? So that is how atherosclerosis affects the heart. Yes, affects the circulatory pathway, coronary artery disease or atherosclerosis. So hope that's fine. Next is the third disorder, that is the angina pectoris or the acute chest pain due to oxygen deficiency in heart muscles. Yes, what happens as we have discussed is that this will be the wall of the artery will be narrowed, right? The wall of the arteries will be coronary arteries will be narrowed. Yes, and the space or the space out, this area to carry oxygen will be decreased. Yes, and that causes the deficiency of oxygen to the supply of oxygen to the heart muscles, leading to an acute chest pain. Yes, and that chest pain is referred to as what? Angina or angina pectoris. It occurs due to improper blood flow. It is common among middle-aged and elderly people. Common among the middle-aged people, that is early 40s and late 60s. Yes, early 40s and late 60s. All those people get affected with angina pectoris, middle-aged and elderly people. Yes, I. So, next disease is the congestive heart failure or simply heart failure. So the main symptom for this is the congestion of the lungs or congestion of the lungs. That is the main symptom of heart failure. That is the inability of the heart to pump blood enough to meet the needs of the blood. That is, the heart fails to pump blood to respective body parts. They fails to pump blood to the respective body parts. Yes, the lungs jet gets congested at that time. That is the first or the primus symptom from where we can confirm that it is an heart failure. Yes, that's all about heart failure as well. Yes, chest pain, angina pectoris, hypertension, increasing blood pressure, atherosclerosis, narrowing of arterial walls. Yes, Sai, it's correct. So cardiac arrest. What is this cardiac arrest? Cardiac arrest is an electrical problem. There is heart attack, also known as heart attack. It's a pumping problem. Very sorry. Cardiac arrest is an electrical problem, and heart attack is a plumping problem. Okay. So cardiac arrest, what happens? Heart stops beating. Beating will be stopped. Okay. Beating will be stopped at the case of cardiac arrest. Whereas in case of heart attack, the heart fails to pump required blood. Heart fails to pump the blood. Yes, that's about cardiac arrest and heart attack. Yes, Anando. So now let's discuss about heart attack. It is the damage of heart muscle. Oh God. It is the damage of heart muscle due to inadequate blood supply. Heart fails to pump blood, required blood, so that heart muscles get damaged, and that results in heart attack. If you look here, you can see how these muscles are damaged. Right? Hope that's fine. Okay. So that's all about heart attack as well, and that's the end of the chapter circulatory body fluids and circulation. So now let's discuss some other points that's required. Yes. Let's move on with that. Let's move on with that. So we have discussed each and every point very clearly, right? Each and every point was very clearly discussed. As we have discussed right at the beginning, once again revising all those things. Father of circulatory system, who is that? The father of circulatory system is William Harvey. William Harvey, regarded as the father of circulatory system. Yes, and we have discussed the functions of circulatory system. Yes, and after that, next what we have to discuss is some circulatory pathways in some other organisms like sponges. Yes, in case of sponges, what is the circulatory system? The circulatory pathway in case of sponges is the canal system, water canal system, right? Sponges have a water canal system. You have studied all those things in case of animal kingdom. Water canal system. Yes. Echinoderms. Echinodermata. They have a water vascular system. Water vascular system. Yes. What else? Platyhelminths, ash helminth, all those have their mesoderms, loose mesoderm, coelomic mesoderm, all as their circulatory material. Then we have discussed annelids, arthropods, mollusks, hemichordates and chordates. From annelids to chordates, they have circulatory fluid as blood. The circulatory fluid will be blood, right? So then we have discussed about circulation, the two types of circulatory systems, that is open and closed circulatory system. Open and closed types of circulatory system. In case of open circulatory system, we have said that blood flow in sinuses or large cavities called as lacunae, and closed circulatory system, blood flows in what? Blood vessels. Yes, and open circulation occurs in case of arthropoda, mollusca, hemichordata, and closed circulatory system occurs in case of chordates and annelids. Yes, then there are four chambers in case of a human heart. Yes, upper two auricles and lower two ventricles. That's how division occurs in case of four chambers. Yes, then the pumping of blood from atria to lungs, as well from lungs to the lungs back to the atria, and from what? Heart to rest all parts of the body. All those things we have discussed as in a single term or a single heading called as double circulation, right? That is including two types of circulation, systemic circulation and pulmonary circulation, right? That is the two types of circulation in humans. Then in case of fishes, the circulation is single circulation. In case of fishes, they have a single circulation. That is, blood flows to us. Blood enters the heart only one time. Okay, blood enters the heart only one time. That is, there are two chambers in a fish heart. That is, one auricle and one ventricle. Yes, and the body carries the body from the deoxygenated blood moves to the heart, and it moves to the gills for purification. After that, the oxygenated blood is pumped out from the gills. It is pumped out to the body. Not enters the heart back. Yes. So that too is fine. After that, circulation in amphibia, that is incomplete. That is incomplete double circulation. And after that, what we have discussed is the types of blood and the blood vascular system, including three types of blood vessels: arteries, veins, and capillaries. Yes, and the composition of a blood, including a fluid plasma, and formed elements. All those things we have discussed, right? And we have discussed about the four types of plasma proteins, that is albumin, globulin, fibrinogen, thrombogen. All those things we have discussed. And about blood plasma without clotting factor, that is the serum, that too we have discussed. Yes. Next, about types of WBCs: lymphocyte, monocyte, eosinophil, basophil, neutrophil, platelets, and blood coagulation mechanism, conversion of prothrombin to thrombin, fibrinogen to fibrin, and clot, how a clot is formed. Then what else? The Grabio grouping system, discovered or introduced by Karl Landsteiner. Yes, Karl Landsteiner. And after that, the different types of antigens and antibodies present in the surface of an RBCs of a person with respective blood groups, and resist factor or RH antigen presence or absence, erythroblastosis fetalis. In a detail, we have discussed that. Next is that about the valves, then the heart sounds, then diastole and systole, ventricular diastole, atrial diastole, cardiac cycle. The time required for a single cardiac cycle, that is 0.8 seconds. And after that, the conducting system of the heart, that is with the help of pacemaker, sinoatrial node and atrioventricular node. Yes. Then after that, repolarization, depolarization in case of electrocardiogram or ECG. Yes. And after that, the graph, that is electrocardiogram, you have discussed the different types of waves found in an electrocardiogram. That is a P wave, QRS complex, and a T wave. These are the four waves, that is, 5 waves found in an electrocardiogram or an ECG. Yes, the machine used to obtain this electrocardiogram is referred to as what? Electrocardiograph. Right? The machine is known as what? The graph, and the real graph is known as what? The gram. Okay, fine. So after that, we have learned about systemic circulation, pulmonary circulation, coronary circulation. Yes, then arteries, veins, and capillaries, all those things. Then the lymphatic system, hepatic portal system, and finally the disorders of circulatory system. All those things we have completed, right? And that's the end of the chapter body fluids and circulation. Hope everything is clear. Yes. So thank you all. Thanks for your patient listening. You will be having further classes as per the schedules. So do join the sessions. Thanks for patient listening. It's me signing out from your favorite and my favorite Biopoint, stream the world of bio. Bye bye.